All right, you battlers. You know what it is, JayDevin back at it with another video here. So yeah, you'll probably notice everything looks extremely different. This is not actually going to be like a specific Go Battle League video. What I want to talk about in this video, it's pretty much the same thing. It's the same thing, to be honest. So this is the Voyager Cup. I do want to make at least, one video to kind of introduce the Voyager Cup to you, to discuss it. And if you are not familiar with the Silph Arena and the Silph tournaments and whatnot, then at least this can give you an introduction. But I do think this is the perfect opportunity to do so because of the rules in the Voyager Cup, which Silph recently announced as the themed cup for the month of April, which is also going to be the month for the regionals tournaments. Okay, so from what you can see, it's called the Voyager Cup. There's the badge and or the pin if you get one, and or you buy one, you win one. However, whatever you do to get it, that's what the pin would be. Now I'm going to explain as briefly as I can and to keep it as simple as possible, so it's not a super boring video like going into a bunch of rules and everything. If you really do end up being interested and you want to look at all the details, you can check it out right there on that website, but also I'm going to make it the first link in the description below. So again, if you want to check it out for yourself, to look into it into a little more, look into it with I guess a little more depth, then check out the link in the description below. So the Silph Arena, what they basically do every month, basically since Pokemon Go PvP has started, they're basically the foundation as far as like a grassroots and amongst the actual PvP community for the community. Like, it's what it is. But every month they're going to hold themed cups for Pokemon Go PvP in the Great League. You can compete in Ultra League and Master League tournaments as well, but the themed monthly cups specifically are in the Great League because that obviously, you might have started to pick up on it at this point. The Great League is overall going to have the most options, and it's going to give you the most flexibility as far as your picks. And also, Pokemon that are otherwise essentially useless are actually now useful, such as Beaverell, right? So, yeah, I'm really excited for this cup because it kind of aligns, honestly, with Go Battle League, because it does have restricted picks, but it's basically an open format. Like, you can pick whatever you want, but you can only pick so much of each, Go Battle League pick, or I guess, or every OP Pokemon pick. So from what you can see, the rules up there, it's going to be pick any one Kanto Pokemon, pick any one Johto Pokemon, pick any one Hoenn Pokemon, pick any one Sinnoh Pokemon, pick any one. Then they group these regions in the Pokemon Go, not the Pokemon Go, I guess the Pokemon universe. They group these other regions together. So Unova, Alola, and Galar, and that would also actually include Melmetal. And then on top of that, you are going to be able to pick any permitted wild card. And then you're going to have to note the restrictions, which the restrictions are, dang, it's a lot. The text is probably a little small for you to read, so I'm going to do the best that I can to, I guess, read it off right now. It's Altaria, Azumarill, Bastiodon, Cresselia, Deoxys Defense Form, Dugong, and that's specifically if it is a Legacy Dugong, right, with the Ice Shard and Icy Wind. I believe that's why they included it, obviously. Then Gardevoir, Hypno, Ivysaur, Jellicent, Lapras, Mandibuzz, Alolan Marowak, Medicham, Melmetal, Mew, Probopass, Registeel, Scrafty, Skarmory, Swampert, Togekiss, Tropius, Umbreon, Venusaur, Whiscash, Wigglytuff, and Zweilous. So quite the list as far as restrictions. But again, remember, those restrictions only apply to the permitted wildcard pick as your 6th pick. So in the Silph Arena themed tournaments, you are going to basically be able to build a team of 6 Pokemon, which I believe all the battles that are happening on the side over here that you can see, the team that I built and I was using in these battles against Steve, PvPSteve, by the way, too. Shout out to him. He does create Pokemon Go PvP content. He has a YouTube channel. If you would like to check him out, I definitely recommend doing so. He's definitely underrated. He's been making content consistently. I'm going to put his link in the description below as well. Check him out. But these battles that I have that are playing against Steve while I'm making this video, the team that I put together, I believe it was Lapras, Umbreon, Tropius, Probopass, Alolan Marowak, and then something else. I don't remember what the something else is off the top of my head right now, to be completely honest, but that's basically it, right? So, you know, as far as like any one Kanto Pokemon, you can pick Charizard from Johto, you can pick Meganium from Hoenn, you know, etc., etc. But then for the specifically for the wildcard pick, you can pick anything from any region except those Pokemon. So of all those Pokemon that are included in that restricted list, you would have to pick those Pokemon from your region pick. So an example would be what's a good example? Hypno. So in the Kanto slot for your first Pokemon, if you do not use that slot to pick Hypno, you are not going to be able to bring Hypno, period. Like, you cannot have Charizard and Hypno on the same team. That would be an illegal team for Voyager. So I think that's the best way to explain it. I hope it really makes sense now at that point. And that's also why I'm really excited for it, because it's really this kind of theme really what's the best way to put this? This really forces people to be creative with your teams, but it also gives people who are very amazing at building teams and strategies a huge opportunity to shine. Aside from just the actual performance and knowing the mechanics of Pokemon Go PvP, there's this whole other strategic depth side that I love, which Go Battle League does lack. I like Go Battle League, but it does not compare to Silph, because this just makes it so much better. Because for Silph, you have to build teams, you have to stick to that team, use that team and only that team, and you can't change the moves. It feels a lot more competitive, honestly. It feels a lot more legitimate. But that's pretty much it, honestly. That's on the surface, at least. That's all there is to the Voyager Cup. Again, if you want to check it out, go there or click the link in the description below, the first link. And yeah, so these battles against Steve, I don't remember what that other pick was that I brought. I mean, we have the Umbreon here. I specifically decided to go with Umbreon because it is one of the restricted picks. But people are with the Go Battle League content recently, focused around Haunter. There's all kinds of hype around Haunter. I'm running into Haunter left and right now in Go Battle League, and when I was using it a lot, I was never seeing it that much. Like, I was usually the only one running the Haunter, and now I'm seeing the Haunter all over the place. So I anticipate it might end up being the same thing in the Voyager Cup when I go to compete. We'll just have to see. But, again, Umbreon can shut down the Haunter, and it can shut down other things as well. I just decided to go with the Umbreon for now. Obviously, my team is built very, very early. It is very subject to change. We'll just have to see what else I end up going with. Man, I really can't remember what that other pick was. I keep trying to remember it, while I'm talking, but I just can't. I can't remember what the pick is. We might see it here in a second when we go in on another battle here against PvPSteve. But the Tropius too. So since we're battling, we have Tropius against Steve's Hypno here. I love the Tropius overall, surely because of its bulk and its typing, right? So it's going to be very resistant to other grass types, unless of course it's a Venusaur with a Sludge Bomb. It will still take super effective, but being flying and grass type, so having that part flying type, it is going to resist all fighting damage. Some of the things, I guess you sacrifice with that is that what was I going to say? Oh, you can still take super effective damage from rock type. So remember that. A lot of people don't remember that. Grass does not resist the rock. Even though the grass is super effective to rock, it doesn't resist the rock. So any rock type moves and rock type damage will still deal super effective to Tropius, as well as Tropius is very, very weak to ice type damage. But I still like Tropius overall, even given like his obvious flaws and his obvious potential weaknesses. I love Tropius. He can perform very, very well. And I also specifically chose to go with the Lapras because if there were a lot of people who built teams. Oh, it was Poliwrath. Poliwrath, there it is. Poliwrath was the other. Poliwrath was the wild card pick I ended up going with, and that was basically thanks to the suggestion of Holden Murgroin. So, Holden, if you end up actually watching this video, shout out to you. Much love, my guy. I do like the Poliwrath. I think some other things in the team I'm going to change, like especially the Probopass. Aside from matchups like this where I resist the confusion, it doesn't really do me many favors considering all the options that are available to people. Even a Lantern here, I might prefer a Lantern, but then I'd have to swap out, I believe, the Tropius or something else if I want to run Lantern. But the theme overall, it really forces you again to be strategic with your team composition. It forces you to take a lot of time and effort into building your team. I guess the main thing I already kind of, to be honest, okay, the main thing I already don't like about the Voyager Cup is that the, it's all over the place in Go Battle League too, but the Azumarill Registeel core is a possibility in the Voyager Cup, so do not be surprised if you see Azumarill and Registeel on teams left and right. I mean, the reason I'm not too worried about it, right, is because with all the Go Battle League matches and sets and everything, creating all the content, battling with people on streams, etc., like, I know how to work around an Azumarill Registeel core without having to mirror that core, if that makes sense. If you don't feel too comfortable doing it that way, then I would just recommend you probably run the Azumarill Registeel core yourself if you want to be more competitive, but that's the Voyager Cup. So let me know what you think about the Voyager Cup in the comments below. I'm certainly excited for it. Again, I just love the depth and the strategy behind the Voyager Cup. It's pretty exciting. I'm also excited to see what's going to happen with huge tournaments around the world. What kind of plays are we going to see? Are they going to be based on the team compositions? Are they going to be based on the strategy and the depth within the team? Are we going to see more synergy between two Pokemon picks arise that we did not see before because of the Voyager Cup? You know, things like that. Things like that just get me too excited. But that is it. The video's over. Thank you, as always, very much for watching. Subscribe if you feel my vibe. Power up, punch the notification bell for all that PvP content. That's it for this video, battlers. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good stinking day.